Hey, what's up, everybody? Appreciate y'all for joining us on this one-on-one sports show. This is your boy Shawnee,
I'm Dante.
and today we want to just jump right in, it, man. Because today we got a real big topic that we probably gonna spend majority of the show going over, and that's the whole Deion Sanders coaching. Usually, I mean, under normal circumstances, you'll just call it coaching promotion since he's going to a Power Five school. But I guess, and for this particular story, it's the Deion Sanders coaching fallout. The way the all the feedback, both I guess on both sides of the whole spectrum. So yeah, we're gonna be spending majority of our time today talking about that topic because it's a topic that has a lot of layers. Surprisingly, it's not just a coaching promotion or just a coaching change of schools. It got a whole lot more layers that we have seen over the past several days. So I'm gonna let Dante spearhead this one because this is up his alley. College football plus HBCUs.
Hey,
Yeah, so we're gonna have a pretty good show. So go ahead,
so
Dante.
off top, Charles Washington. I appreciate you. No, I don't think he can sell out. Look, I'm gonna let y'all know behind the curtain a little bit. You want reaction when you get somebody to come to a show, so we put that there. I'll say this off the top. As far as a sellout, there are levels of selling people out. What's going on, Andre? I appreciate you checking in. Appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Go ahead and share this right now. Give it a like. Get the likes up. And we really want everybody to have and be able to clip this conversation because the Black Man Unfiltered Network is basically catered and perfect for this conversation. And whenever we started this show, I'm glad of days of topics like this. So we can talk as black men and talk about the sport aspect and just break it down because it's multi-layered. You're not gonna see you're not gonna see totally too much, Stephen A yelling at people and all that kind of crazy stuff. Just breaking it down and talking about it because there's layers to it. And so what I'll say is from the jump, and I got from my notes. So basically, if you don't remember, I'll rewind it all the way back to 2020. We were all in home from the pandemic. Things are going on. George Floyd incident happens. He gets killed. I want to say that Friday of Memorial Day weekend, which is basically for other places in the country. It's like the start of the summer. I mean, me and Shiny, we're in Texas, so it's like it's not too hot yet, so it's a good time for us too. So it's a good time for basically the whole country, weather-wise, all of that. The people that want to go down to Miami and do that, and and other sunny places. But it's like we're dealing with that. We had the riots that come after, and I rewatched the clip of the CBS interview, and Deion was like, he took the job 3 months after that, and he definitely, and you can hear the interviewer say it's not a coincidence. Like, yeah, he was called to action, but in his mind, and as he said and quoted. He said, as far as taking the job, I truly believe with all my heart, God called me collect, and I accepted the charges. That is a quote from Deion. So on the part of people being upset about him leaving, and I know this ties into the clip that I shared with Shiny. Hey, if you got called the guy to do something, you might not want to say that about college football. Because this is a conversation about college football overall. I know we're talking about HBCUs specifically, but in college football, coaches change jobs. Coaches cannot get to the end of their contract with 1 year left because you're recruiting a guy for 4 years. So you simply cannot be a lame duck coach. You got to be a guy that they extend. They know you're going to be there for a while, and guys are going to come cycle into your program and play for you. You say they're playing for the academics. You say they're playing for the prestige of the school and this, that, and the other. There's a big part of it. You're playing. Humans or human beings react to other human beings. And who is not going to react to Deion, Coach Prime, who is, a very charismatic man, which in fact got a guy that was in some recruiting rankings, the number one recruit, number one and number two recruit. I don't think he was consensus, but he was number one and number two, which is a 5-star player, which 5 stars that high. In college football, those guys are likely to have to go to the pros. And so for him to go there and take away from the other schools, I do feel like that's what really got him hired at Colorado. I truly feel that's what got him hired there because you're able to recruit on a high level. We know about the transfer portal because the transfer portal is at Jackson State, who, and as being a person that went to Prairie and them and is in the Jackson State is a fan base that I will speak for them in this regard, and they will say agree with this. They are very prideful. They are very boastful fan base, and they're very proud, very proud. And so they are taking this. Most of them are taking this with their head held high. They about to go play in the Celebration Bowl. And as far as black college football goes, this is always the rule for me. I'm not sure of everyone else. Once you win the SWAC, I'm rooting for you to win the Celebration Bowl because you're playing against the other Division I HBCU conference. And so they still got a job to do, and they are dealing with the situation of Coach Prime leaving. And it's like he had every right to leave, but the biggest fundamental problem is the first words I said to you, God called me, and, leaning on the religion and leaning on people's heartstrings. And it was a difficult thing for people to accept, but it was something the whole time that was likely going to happen. And that's how colleges go. You don't normally stay at one place. You go somewhere. He leveled up. Now, for everyone saying the money and all of that standpoint, I appreciate everything that he's done as far as getting the facilities better. It used to, when you watch the profile on 60 Minutes, if it rained, they had to bus to a high school to practice at a different facility. And, Deion mentioned the facilities being bad, but you got to look at it. Look into the layers of it. 8 historically black colleges come from historically black people. Historically, black people come from what? We literally, and this is on point with this, these schools are instituted, a lot of them came when we were, became emancipated. So you're dealing with people that post-slavery poor and another generation of poor coming from generations of poor people. So we're doing the best that we can. So yeah, we're trying to keep the doors open. So if the football team isn't on point with the gear, hey, y'all go out and play for the pride. We're trying to make sure we got the basics. This is actually a situation in which we always get talked about as black people, for we need to focus on what's more important. HBCUs do. They're not overfunding the football team to take away from the academics. That's never happening. So if you come to a HBCU, you have to accept that. So that's why when the guy, I can't remember who interviewed him, said, what are the charges? Losing a lot of sleep. Like, yeah, you losing a lot of sleep. You definitely losing a lot of sleep, and you having to make calls and do things. The Jackson water crisis happened while he was there, and I commend him for handling most of the things very, very well. So I say hats off to him, but we have to look at it overall. They were talking about exposure dollars. Exposure dollars ain't real dollars, because if those exposure dollars were real, they could have went and did some things for those players and those facilities, making sure those guys could get water. The exposure is just people talking about it in their hashtag and you ain't SWAC and all of that. Also, Eddie Robinson Jr., he was right. He's not SWAC. As evidenced by he's now Pac-12. So I know it's a lot more to get into, but I'm going to let my co-host go ahead and give his spiel, how he feels about the topic.
I was curious, though, about that comment by Eddie Robinson Jr. About wanting to say Deion is not SWAC. When I originally heard that comment a couple of months ago, I was thinking of course, I guess I don't know if he's trying to say like Deion is coming to the SWAC conference thinking he's just representing the whole entire conference, because when he came, all of a sudden you got this light from this national media, all these ESPN putting you on their networks and whatnot, and just all this attention. And I don't really know if Deion, because it looks like with Deion, his whole thing was how can he grow that conference, one, and just black football as a whole. He always wanted them, because especially when it came down to, I remember when it came down to when schools of like Jackson State or I just stick to the SWACs, as you say HBCUs, it's even smaller HBCUs. But for the SWAC, MEAC, other HBCUs, the bigger HBCU football conferences, and when they go play these, a lot of time, Power 5 schools, as part of their schedule, they get this relatively smaller paycheck compared to another FCS school that goes play these FBS schools. They tend to get a bigger paycheck. So I remember one time he was like, "Man, we gotta do some better negotiation, because we basically almost sacrificing our players, especially the interior players, when they go play these bigger schools." So it always looked like he was always trying to progress the whole HBCU football as a whole, So when I heard that comment from Eddie Roberts Jr. talking about he's not swag, I was like, I don't know if he ever. I guess because I was curious how some coaches would take it, because when Deion came, all the spotlight, all the recognition. Some of them dudes been in it. They've been coaching there for seasons, and then his first season, especially after, because I know his first season was that COVID season, and he got the recognition. And what's up, man?
What's going on?
He got that recognition, but
I'm doing good. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, no problem, man. No problem. It really came into a head the next season when I guess football kind of got back to normal. But as far as the whole situation as of today, dealing with him going to Colorado, man, I look at it as no different than, you see it all the time. School coach from a smaller school, they go take a smaller school because currently they resume is just not big enough to go to a Power 5 school. So they go take a smaller job. If they produce, a school come knocking. Hey, we see what you've done. How would you like to have a chance to come at one of our Power 5 schools? And that's a lot of them. That's their dream. If they want to be college football, because a lot of times they want to go to the NFL. So they go to Power 5 NFL, or if they want to stay in college football, Power 5 schools. That's their dream. That's the ultimate. And it's just like I was mentioning in the intro, how just on both sides of this thing, that you have people. I think a lot of the traditional sports fans, they kind of recognize it for what he was. Coach, his resume now, he has even though Coach Prime was coaching in high school up here at DFW area, this was his first college gig, and his resume shown he came and dominated the SWAC. So you do that, yes, you're going to get attention from bigger schools. That's exactly what happened. And it was a school that I thought Auburn should have been hitting up Sanders' door. Yeah, I never thought about Colorado, even though they only won one game last year, so I guess they were better suited for it.
I was just listening to a podcast. Do you know how hard Auburn of a job is? Like, I would take it. Only way I would take the Auburn job is if I knew Saban was at the end, or if I knew I could get transfer portal wise a stacked team for the next 2 years and then get recruits. Well, you need stacked teams for that first year, because when you recruit college wise, you're not going to be able to make the impact you need to make if you're getting hired in early December, November, because early signing day has basically trumped signing day. So you working on the class. So this is 23 is recruiting is basically over. You're working on 24 recruits. So what you're going to do on the field success wise and your talk game is what's going to get you recruits. And I swear to you, that's what got him there. And that's the other thing. I was waiting for you to say it. I didn't want to give it all up too early. But what Deion did, and especially because you can lean on it, and I know he did this in his football career. He was a wild guy, and he cleaned his life up. And like a lot of people do, not just athletes, you turn your life over to God, and sometimes it can be disingenuous, and you can lean on that whenever, when things get tough and you don't want to, be accountable for what you did. You can lean on the Christian aspect. But on this point, I feel like he leaned on the Christian aspect, the George Floyd and the black HBCU. Yeah. When it really was, this man didn't want to be an assistant coach. He did not want to be an assistant coach to anyone. So what he was able to do, go to Jackson State, dominate in that conference. Absolutely dominate. I want to say they may have lost maybe one or two during the COVID year, and then I don't think they lost any other SWAC games. And the closest game they had, besides obviously the losses, was the 7-6 game to FAMU last year. And that's how FAMU felt like they were so close. But by him jumping the line over other coaches that wait years to get opportunities, he used his name, he used this situation to jump the line, and now jump to Colorado. My biggest thing is I knew it was coming at some point, but Colorado is such a crappy job. Like, I got my emotions in the first half and went everywhere. So Andre Terry, you made a good point about the emotions. And I put it out to like my friends. I was just like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm part a little mad. I'm part disappointed, but I want him to succeed, a part indifferent. But I want him to succeed. It's just Colorado is It's such a crap job. That's
I
a
think the fact
bad
that they
job.
won one game last year,
What?
they at the bottom. So
Okay.
they see
So
Prime who can recruit, and
yeah,
let's go give it a shot.
no, ain't no race in this business. I
Let
won't
me.
say it's race in the business. And as far as Prime selling out, you got to know that you got to look at Jackson State. Go look at the 2019 before he got there. Look at the attendance. The attendance, that school is well supported in attendance. That school is going to continue to be. It's not going to maybe be at the points where he had it with some of the recruits where he just had a big talent advantage. But they support their team. They support their team at Jackson State. So I'm going to say that. But go ahead, brother. I'm going to let you go ahead and get out.
Okay, I'm new to this, and I appreciate it. But listening to this right now, I make sure when I first heard the news, I tell let me do my due diligence and look into it deeper. Right? Let's not forget, before he was the head coach for this HBCU, he had his own school before. Am I correct?
Prime Prep.
Yeah.
And he coached the team, right? So a time
Mm-hmm.
over, right? Okay, fine. When he joined Jackson State, he was told that their facility was subpar, was not up to date, needed a lot of funding. Okay. He committed to the first 3 years. He donated half of his checks to help get the staff paid. I said, okay.
This is true.
He went undefeated. He bought publicity. He renegotiated their contract in the way that you're not robbing the HBCU school from their publicity and their promotion. Because I was watching William Martin when he talked about it several times over, and this is why I say I love William Martin Unfiltered, because it's very educational. Because when you don't understand the business, how these NCAA were making their money off college football, how they're making millions and billions of dollars, when HBC can do the same exact thing, you lose out of it, right? Okay, fine. Now, let nobody sleep on prime time. This guy know how the TV business works. He fully comprehended. Now, if the man was trying to help build something with you, and there was rumors that the president of the school was bumping head with him in many different occasions when he was trying to elevate, bring more money into the school, bring more business into the school, make sure that the school is well set up if you decide to leave or not. Because let's be real, not all the time certain head coaches stay. Now, I remember saw a video that was circulated saying this might be the reason why he decided to leave. He won a particular game, and somehow his office got broken into. They stole his phone, and now, no disrespect, I work in corporate America. If the office is supposed to be secure, and someone broke into my office, stole item when they're supposed to be security preventing anything from happening, and no one cared. The first thing that comes to my mind is, why should I work another year here?
Hey, Black David, I got a question
Yeah,
for you.
go ahead.
So, do you know, like, I won't get too much into it, but have you ever seen Jackson? Or have you ever, like, if you watched that episode on 60 Minutes, where they were talking about the school and everything, and it's just like it's really a tough situation. Young Sir Approve, I appreciate you checking out the show, bro. I appreciate that. But if you've seen it and how bad it is, and then like, all right, yeah, it may have been a long time since he's been in a situation like this. If you're in certain situations, and they talk about this with the rappers all the time, there's certain things that you might want to leave that at home. You might not need to have that in the car. It's just certain ways that you move when you go certain places. And I saw this later, that him talking about the crime was a bit of a dog whistle to the power fives and the white schools, like, talking about the crime and saying different things. There are certain things that's gonna happen. I'm not saying it's right. It's not right at all. He went and got his
And
stuff back. They
and I
got it back
and
to
I
him.
get no, you're
But
right, because I
you know what you're dealing with when you come into
and
a
you're right.
place like that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You're right, but I had to look at a person's personality too, because there are people I have worked with before. Hold on a second.
But yeah, that was the one thing that I thought it was like a small thing at first, and then like when you look at his press conference, and how he like.
I'm sorry about that. But
Go ahead.
Correct. I'm trying to be logical about it because, for one, I always ask this question: when you work with certain people, how the person conduct themselves in certain environment, how would they feel or respond when certain thing affect them, right? So when they mentioned that video, I said, you know what? I can see that might be a case, but it shouldn't be the case unless that's one of his pet peeve about how he conduct themselves. You know, there's some people that are symptomatic in their approach and what they do, right? How they want to get things done. Now, when you try to be in that person way and the person will try to do something to build something so that it will make not only the school better, the facility better, the program better, but you're always in that person way. That one incident should not be a case, but I'm sure there were many more incidents that were not mentioned out there that he thought to feel were like, you know what? I'm here 3 years. I'm pulling in money so the money can come in. He helped to fix the football field, which is
He did.
crazy. They had way more money coming in where they had better facility, better program, better he was the guy using his network. This is something I'm trying to comprehend. The guy used his resource and his network to pull string so that more can come in to invest in the thing he was doing. So when I look at it, to be logical, who benefited more?
Coach Brown. Coach Brown benefited
I,
more.
I,
He's about to make nearly $6 million a year.
no, yeah,
Let's
no,
not
right
act
now,
like
yeah,
he wasn't doing it
yeah,
all for that.
I get it. I had to give you a prop on that one. I'm not gonna argue that. Yes, he benefit more right now, but before the offer came in, that's what I was looking at. The man used his own resource to make connections so that
To build a locker
only
room.
not only the spotlight is put on HBCU, it's also to be made clear whereby don't look down on black college football, make it seem that they're not on the same level as the NCAA. I asked this question for almost a decade from a lot of people who came from HBCU. Do you think the HBCU college football team is better than the NCAA football team?
The Power Five, no,
Nah.
they're not better. And from watching this is how it goes. And a lot of people don't understand this. Like as far as going to a HBCU, there are the ones we're talking about, the SWAC conference and the MEAC conference. Those two, and I want to say there are some other.
Dante, it's not you. We lost audio of you real quick.
Yeah, you lost audio. Look, I want to listen to everything you're telling me because
this is talking BS. That's why he lost audio.
Well, I go ahead. Can you hear us, Dante? I guess he's trying to fix it up, but
I'm trying to be the logical one here because I don't want to call out nobody because this was a very touchy topic.
Now, the question you asked about who benefited, were you talking about basically between Prime and the SWAC?
Between Prime and Jackson State, because the way I look at it, the man came in for 3 years. What they're paying the guy was how much? $300,000 a year?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so that's for 3 years, that's about $900,000. The man donated half of his salary so that can be paid.
Come on now.
Right? He pulled string to make sure more money was coming in because, mind you, before he was doing all this,
Black David, don't forget that he had to pay to get out his contract. He had to pay $300,000 just to get back out of his contract.
I didn't know about that one either. That's new to me. But what I'm pointing out is this. This man went above and beyond. And this is something I know is a trend among black men who walk through a path of excellence. When they go above and beyond for a company and do way more what they signed a contract for, right? Based on the contract negotiation, when you become a head coach, there's certain things head coach can do, right? For what I'm hearing, Deion went beyond being a head coach. He did way much more than what he was required to do.
Yes,
am I not correct?
Yeah, he did a lot. He did a lot. And one of his biggest focus was his staff as well.
Yeah, y'all hold him accountable like he's the president of the school. He's not the president of the school. He's a football coach.
And that's the thing, because when you just said right there, he was trying to make sure that staff get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you have a true leader, the leader never look on himself. He look on the people who have that positive effect and want to make sure they're well taken care of. I had job in the past when I was a leader, and I wasn't going to be satisfied until my team looked good. With me, I would have to make certain sacrifice to make sure they benefit before I benefit, right? How many head coaches do you know will donate half of their salary?
Not many.
I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, and Deion, he did his part as far as, you know, using his resources, whether it's his connections.
Shawnee, come on.
What you got, Andre?
Shawnee, come on. The man got 2 toes amputated. Anybody lose toes on this panel? He was on the sideline. What the toes got to do with him winning the games, though? He was on the sideline doing his recovery for his team right after he got his toes amputated. Does he have to do that?
I didn't know that either.
Y'all don't want to give no credit to the man.
No, I give plenty of credit.
We're giving him credit, but we know what the goal is at the end of the day.
I know, but I'm trying to be a logical person here, because I'm trying to look at the aspect. When you sign a contract as a head coach, there are certain requirements you must fulfill as a head coach, right? Which is fine. But what the guy did, he went beyond and above what he's supposed to do as a head coach, and did way much extra. Somebody was saying
that he did do. He did go above. He did do stuff that traditionally coaches you don't ask them to do, because he was trying to.
Because he did more than Eddie Robinson ever did for that school.
Did y'all see what Mr. Bennett said? Where he was just like, he used his network. It's not a platform. And I think that's
basically what I was trying to get at too. Yeah,
he put himself in position to get the other job. Yes, he did things to build that program, because guess what? We got to look at it with both sides of the coin. I can't get Travis Hunter. I can't get these other Power 5 recruits to come over here if I don't have things look more appealing. I need to get the locker room better.
Is that a bad thing for me to use my network? Isn't that what I'm here for? Is it not my job to do everything within my power to help this school
elevate myself?
But Andre, I don't think anybody's saying it was a bad thing that he was using his network, though.
So why are you bringing it up? Like he didn't really do anything.
This is why I'm trying to be logical about here, because
now we knew
I like to take time and dissect everything, see how things operate, what make the guy want to leave. Remember, I mentioned before, you were bumping head with the president, and we know the president was the cause of the problem, whereby whenever they're trying to go forward and do something great for the school, this guy was trying to say, "Oh no, you can't." But
now, Black David, what I want to ask you is there are, if we're going to be honest especially about Power 5 football, and Power 5 football, the head coach has so much power because his salary is so much.
Yeah.
So in his situation where you're at Jackson State, if you're the president and this guy just came in, yes, we're going to bump heads, because I don't know how long you're going to be here, and you're helping things out. If I cater to you and everything, I'm talking about giving you everything you want, everything you need, and then you leave, that doesn't leave me into a really good space. I don't know all the conversations they had and what all they butted heads about.
Okay, I give you that.
I can't fully go. But yes, he's gonna try to get things to cater to him and go a certain way. So I respect that. That's college sports. You're gonna combat. You're gonna fight. There's things you're gonna not like.
I get that.
But Prime made it clear. He didn't.
Go ahead, Rob.
Prime made it clear that hey, if he ever had an opportunity to go to a D1 school,
yes,
he was going to take that opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, say Power 5, because let's
keep it real. Like
HBCUs or Division 1, they're Division 1 FCS. So when you say do y'all know what's the name of that school that won all the championships that Carson Wentz came from?
Oh, that's North Dakota State.
North Dakota State is Division 1 FCS. So when you say division, that's the real other topic to talk about. These schools at HBCUs, the SWAC and the MEAC, they are Division 1 FCS, but since it's a black school, it is underfunded, so we don't have the same level of funding.
Hold up, Dante. Why is the school underfunded? Is it because the alumni doesn't get back like they're supposed to?
No, because we came from.
Is it no? Is it because the alumni don't get back like they're supposed to?
Because people don't want to donate.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and black people talk all this BS about what they want Deion to do. Deion has given so much money to that school. Listen, nobody on this panel has given as much as he's given.
Hold on.
Period.
This issue you just mentioned right now, was addressed on Monday on Walmart and was addressed yesterday. Walmart mentioned they checked with all the alumni from HBCU. They're saying that a lot of them was not even donating, not even $1.
No, bro,
kind of crazy.
HBCU ain't really owned by black people. Let's keep it real.
But
whether it is or not, you still not giving to your people, and you know your people benefit more than anybody else.
Let me tell you why I mentioned this. I live in Brooklyn, New York. New York City was the one that had the most diverse cultural city on the country, hands down. We got so many ethnic groups, unreal. But when you live next to a Jewish community, or you live close to a Asian community, you live close to the Middle Eastern community, it's hard not to observe what they're doing.
Right.
The community never think about themselves. They think about the big picture. So they would go above their pride and put their resources together to do something great. In Brooklyn, New York, a lot of these middle income people own, and you're not gonna believe it, about 80 to 90% of the corner store in New York City, in Brooklyn. They're making bread off that.
But Black David, you know why they do so well? Because they support each other's businesses no matter what. Whether business is good or it's terrible. They stick with the business for 6 months. You find me a black business that all y'all gonna support for 6 months.
That's why I'm using the example. When you want these people pour in their resource, regardless of the business doing bad or good, they make sure that business do great, right?
Because they care about each other and they see the big picture.
Now, HBCU, Martin have put a lot of people on the map, but he also put them on the spot. He was calling almost every single president.
Yes, he was.
Every HBC in the acting. What were you doing wrong?
Yeah.
Why did it look like you were sabotaging yourself without even paying attention what the heck you're doing?
Yeah.
Why do you have students calling you out, saying you're not doing an excellent job, but when they point out the flaw, you act like you do not see it? This is something that I'll be admitted. I pay $50 every year for 3 years for Walmart, so that thing can go the way it is right now. It's because I support an institution. I've been telling people, when you don't support your institution, when you don't help to build up your institution, you can't say X, Y, and Z, why this is not happening, that is not happening. But yet, the main thing they had before, you're not trying to water it. You ain't trying to spread the seed. You ain't trying to grow and pass on to the next. So when this man, I can't say he did it all by himself, but it was kind of selfish that he stayed there for 3 years. Keyword, use his network. I forgot the guy from
But David, I would say it was selfish if all that stuff that happened to Deion didn't happen to Deion. If he didn't bring $30 million to that city and they didn't give him a dime to help that program get better.
Right.
If they didn't break into his office, it's still his belongings. If they didn't break into his son's car, it's still his belongings.
Ron gave them the blueprint. They messed it up. That's on them.
Now let me get this in really quickly.
Yeah, Dan, I got plenty of pushback, but go ahead.
I got this.
You always got pushback, Dustin. That's not new.
I got
this
in 2019. So
we're
seeing HBCUs, right? Those are primarily people, like I think they pulled it up, Jackson State. I'm going to say 93% of the student population is black. So if you're 93% of your people are black, they're going to your schools. That number is probably around the same for every HBCU. So in 2019, black households, I want to say black households, they had the median net wealth, I want to say, of like $24,000. So this is who's going to your school. Matter of fact, if you want to see what goes on at HBCUs, if you want to talk about donating and things of that nature, go and look and see how many people that are going to the school are funded by financial aid as compared to your white counterparts.
And,
so when you talk about,
I'm not backing that.
So that's the point. Now, so it's one thing.
That's Dante. Come on, serious. That's your point. How many black people own all these high name brands? They spend money on what they want to spend money on.
Let me finish my point. Real quick. So it's compared to the white counterpoints. You're looking at the median white household is $189,000. So you're saying the people that don't need financial aid to
you
go to school.
You saying stuff we already know. You preaching to the choir.
Okay, I'm preaching to the choir. So what I'm saying is, when you're talking about donating money, if I'm coming from a household that
they can't give $1 a month.
No. If I'm coming from a household that makes 24, and then I come out, and let's just say I come out of school and I'm making 60. I'm making 60. And that's if I'm making that, because you see the job market. Come on, we in a recession. We're not talking about it.
There's jobs everywhere. There's a lot of people don't want to take jobs.
No, there's jobs everywhere, and the reason why those other people quit those jobs.
Well, where'd you get them fake numbers from? 24,000 and 189,000.
But you know what's funny? It's foreigners to come over and take them same jobs and make something out of it.
I got this from a financial website. I didn't get to pull up the numbers from demos.org.
I get that.
They lied.
But listen, that's the numbers that's reported. We know a lot of black people do a lot of stuff that's illegal, and they make money off of things, and they don't report that money because you know why? They don't want to be taxed on that money.
So we go and talk about people making illegal funds, and that's supposed to. We supposed to have Nino Brown's.
No. But I'm saying, don't act like black people don't have money. Don't act like black people don't have money. Do they not line up at the Gucci store? Do they not line up at the
Hold on real
store?
quick, y'all. Hold on real quick, man. Cause we going that. I thought it was supposed to be about Deion and moving going to Colorado and stuff.
No, but we talking about people supporting it too, Shawnee.
Yeah, Dustin, go ahead. I know you want to have something to say, though. Go ahead,
bro.
Yeah, I got some dust. Here's the deal. And if I missed something in the first part of the conversation, my fault, I'm driving.
No, we was definitely doing like a preview, like a whole summary.
I got you. But here's the deal. I went to HBCU. I grew up in a black neighborhood, actual black community, where it was 2-car garages and green grass and stuff. Then I went to the Army, then I went to HBCU. HBCUs are trash. Don't give your money to them.
I'm
sorry about
that. Come on, man.
Here's the deal.
Hey, yo, y'all gotta cut his mic, yo. Cut him out.
Here's the deal.
No, go ahead.
Here's the deal. I went to one. My brother went to one. The registration process is a mess. The service, how they treat the people, and then what's being taught. They're teaching Victim Olympics at HBCU. The person to your left and to your right. At the end of the day, when you go to college or go to any organization, you want to put yourself in the best position to win, regardless of race, regardless of history, whatever. The name of the game is to win. So if you can go somewhere else and win, Alabama or wherever, that's where you should go. But the reason people aren't giving back to HBCUs is because HBCUs are not taking care of their people. I've seen this inside and out, years, multiple people from the inside and outside. That's true. The other thing is this. Deion Sanders voluntarily decided, hey, I want to do something for black people. So he did. And he said, hey, I want to do something different. Somehow, I guess, because he's black, he signed some blackety-black contract, and he owes his whole soul to do everything that black people want when they want to do it. No.
That's because we got that savior complex.
All that does is say, hey, Deion, what it is Deion, you're proving why people should do what they want to do, and we move as individuals. Because this is how you're treated amongst the fake black community that doesn't even exist. Go, Deion, go. Go where you want to go, do what you want to do. And he's still taking care of people. It's a damn problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And they still got something to say.
Yeah.
He gave them
There's 70% black players in every football team. He's still gonna be black boys.
That's why
I know you.
He doesn't have to. He can go form a Mexican team in Saudi Arabia if he wants to.
But Dante don't want to give him that credit.
If he wants to, why not? He don't owe nobody nothing.
I give him his credit for what he did. You don't, but my thing is,
what he's constantly doing too.
I knew going in what was gonna happen. This is Deion Primetime Sanders. This is a man that made a song called "Show Me the Money." Like, this man is about
must be the money.
Must be the money.
Must be the money. Get it right, Dante. Show Me the Money was Jerry Maguire, dog.
That was Jerry Maguire. it must be the money, and that's what he took it. Like somebody tweeted it. They was like live from Deion's press.
Bro, you talking about a 20-year-old Deion Sanders compared
Please.
to a 26-year-old, 27-year-old.
You telling me the man can't evolve from what he used to be?
He's a senior citizen now.
Yeah,
he can't change.
Nah,
so what you saying, Dante? Whatever you was 20 years old, you can't be nothing different now.
No, I'm not saying that he's that. I'm just saying some of those elements are still there, like the shiny and the flash is still there, and that's what's getting the recruits to come. He did a very good job of getting, like, look, bro, I can't explain to you what an accomplishment it was to get Travis Hunter, a top 2 recruit, to go to Jackson State, and that's what got him hired. I'm not saying that.
Dante, let me ask you this though.
Stay there for a million years.
Dante,
I just hold on, but let me finish this point. I'm not gonna lie, for my own selfishness, I just wanted him to stay at Jackson State long enough to get a couple of those guys drafted. That's it.
Fair.
That's all I wanted.
He did.
I get that. He's going to transfer portal. He's leaving. I'm not saying Deion, you suck. Deion, you this. I'm saying I'm not surprised. And I want to say the clip that we showed. I wish we could share the clip. The clip when Bomani Jones was on CNN. That was like the best clip of what happened. Like, bro, I went from making $300,000 to now I'm making nearly $5 million. Like, yes, I'm getting a big pay bump. This is something that he's always wanted to do. And we would give credit to another coach if he was of another race, how slickly he got around being an assistant coach. This man went from no head coaching experience, head coach 3 years at an HBCU, boom, at a Power 5.
But Dante, okay, I get your point. Let me say this real quick. I want to ask everybody on this panel this question. What's Deion's number one job? Is it to be a father or is it to be a coach? If I put my kids in a situation where people keep mistreating me, keep doing me wrong, after I give my all, I got 2 toes amputated, I gave back my salary, I signed to get out of the contract just to get money back to the school. I pouring all my resources to the school, and you're still telling me I'm too selfish?
Right. Actually, it's not selfish enough. It needs to be more selfish.
And he helped guys from JSU go to the pros because one of them played for the Lions, played for my team. You know what I'm saying? Like, he done a lot. He gave, bottom line, bro.
He gave everything.
He gave the blueprint.
Everything.
So they should, if they F this up.
And he's still going to be instrumental. Now, he's still going to be instrumental.
He told him who to hire.
Finding another coach.
His sons have the opportunity now to play for a D1 school. I don't think his son was highly recruited when he came out of high school. Now he have
you talking about Shedeur?
It's the quarterback. Both his
Shedeur had an offer to go to Florida Atlantic, which is a Division I FBS school, and so it's just like, it's a Division I school, but it's not very highly ranked. He did a really good job of raising his profile to go to Jackson State, and he looks like damn good. Now he's going to the Pac-12, and it's going to be basically he's trying to get his son drafted. Like, he's definitely serving different avenues, and I'm not mad at
what he's supposed to be doing
as a father. Excuse me, as a father, no, he's doing what he's supposed to do as far as that and as far as his own mission. I just think this. Don't stay at 30. Colorado. We will be long. Fans. That's a bad conference. I mean, that conference is going down. USC's leaving that conference, and they just won one game. They just won one game. So he got to go. He has to play. I would say 2 years there, maybe three max. He should be no longer than 3 years. No longer than 3 years. Go get a bigger job.
Hey, Dante, I can definitely understand. I can rock with it when you say, hey, man, for my selfish reasons, I wanted him to stay. I wanted that man. I get that. I can understand the argument 100. My only problem is when people start calling this man a sellout. When they start saying that this man, it's like he didn't do anything. I understand. Even with what's his name? What's no hairline? Stephen A. even said it was basically his own selfish reasons. He didn't have it where he was saying the man was wrong at all. He was just saying that shit. He just wanted to see him stay there and do it, to continue the job he was doing with them. One of my things is this. Unless you guys already know, we've been changing the game in college and in pro sports for at least 20 years now. We're not even giving each other the credit for doing the things that we do when it comes down to, us really changing the rules. It's slow and gradual, But everybody else, at some point, man, they were just letting it and taking it. Now we got a little bit more leeway in this world of sports. We still not even happy with it. It's like shock. It's like shock to black people that you see people that have just a little bit of power that we have where we can utilize it so we can go and do what we need to do. I think that he did a great job at Jackson State. I think that now whoever he pick as a coach, it's just going to have to try to fill those big old shoes. But I also think that in that, just in the whole world of HBCUs, black people need to go back to start saying we're going to donate, not just saying it, doing it, showing that you're going to donate. Pick a school. You ain't got to donate to all of them. Pick a school. If they feel that Jackson State deserves to have a great program, they need to be the ones to, and I'm talking about the people that lives around it, the people that got the kids going to that school, the people that was alumni, all these people, they need to go ahead and make sure that is, not to take on one man. Like I said, I respect the argument that I wish he stayed. I respect that. But to call him a sellout, it brings us back at least 40 more years, bro.
Yeah, it's all in your feelings.
Hold on, let me address that, JT. I'm glad you mentioned it, but here what the problem is.
Just say no to donate.
Come on, Dust, please.
That's so hilarious.
JT, I'm glad you mentioned that, but here what the problem. When we speak to our own people to try to invest in us, you know it's almost like they want you to prove yourself 100 times over before they decide to invest in us. Deion Sanders did it way above 100%. That was something that was bothering me. He did way more what he signed the contract for. He would get paid $300,000 a year for 3 years. That's 900. He pulled in almost $100 million worth of funds to rebuild the stadium, rebuild the facility, have the football game on TV. Mind you.
If ESPN Gay didn't come back.
He did all that extra. He went above and beyond 100%. And yet he gets disrespected. The same thing happened with
that's what we do best.
The same thing happened with Man Unfiltered. He started that show almost 4 or 5 years ago. People donated $1, donated $2. I decided for the past 3 years to invest $50 a year. And look how far.
Same here, black man.
Look how far he got to. But when we tell black people let him invest in our own institution, oh, you got to prove yourself. This man proved himself 1,000%, and yet all people in the stadium rooting for him to get the hell out. What did they do? What about him destroy everybody on Monday and Tuesday? Call literally everybody out. He wasn't having it for nobody. If you watch his broadcast, he was not playing no games. He wasn't dying to his word. He meant what he said. You can't even put in $1 every month. What's hard to get him put in $1?
The niggas don't want to. So plain and simple.
They too busy being
show
niggas.
for $1, $2, or $5. They can afford $50 a year, but they donate $1. It came a long way. So if you want to chastise Deion Sanders for what he did, and he decided to go elsewhere, but yet he bringing way more what you gave him, and you want to call him a sellout. The people who are a real sellout are people who open their mouth to call them that. I'm pure African. I've been telling people, if you cannot invest in your own institution, don't complain about somebody else who are doing it. Deion Sanders are one of the very few who tried to build something. Besides him, besides Ronald Martin, Tyler Perry. How often have people talk about Tyler Perry and they didn't do what he did? So let's keep it real. Because
let me slide here real quick.
Deion Sanders deserves respect.
Hey, let Shawnee slide in real quick, and we got a couple other people we want to get.
Yeah, because I want to, because I know they've been waiting for us. We appreciate one for all y'all joining us on this topic. We knew it was gonna be a hot topic, and I know we had Mr. Bennett, Poppy, and Marcus just joined us. So I believe Mr. Bennett joined us first. I'm just gonna go down the line, Mr. Bennett, Poppy, and then Marcus. So we definitely want to hear their feedback. So what y'all got for us, gentlemen?
Well, good evening. Lively discussion tonight. Yeah, I mean, I think with something like this, I mean, several things can be true at the same time. It's like everyone's kind of getting to these camps, like you're in one camp or another. You're either pro Deion, Deion could do no wrong, or that he's a sellout. And you just have to compartmentalize some things. My only opposite, I have no problems with him leaving. He absolutely gave much more than he got from Jackson State. All those things are facts. But he did not build a platform. There is no blueprint. When you talk about his personality, there's very few people in sports history, maybe Ali and a few other people who have his personality. Why is that important? Because that is what he brought into the living rooms and dens to convince people like Travis Hunter to go to his school. You can't platform that. You can't blueprint that. Then he used his private business connections, which is perfectly fine, and I'm glad he used them. But they do business with Deion because Deion makes them money. Now, these deals that they have with the university, once that runs out, if the university does not show a profit, are they going to be still willing to still stick with the university unless they're going to be profitable? But let's just keep it real here.
But whose job is to do that, Mr. Bennett?
It's not
the president's job.
It's not. No, it's not. I'm not. Again, that's what I'm saying.
It's not the president's job to make sure the money comes in.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not criticizing. I'm just laying it out. That is the facts. I'm not saying someone is right. I'm not saying anyone is wrong. But all I'm saying is you cannot blueprint that unless you have another high-profile ex-athlete with his pedigree who comes in with his endorsements and is willing to do that same thing, or unless the school comes to a point where they can be profitable to the businesses that are investing in them. Michael Strahan did him a favor, said, look, put my team in your uniforms, in your suits. That was he just did him a solid for that. Is Michael Strahan going to Michael Strahan comes from an HBCU. Is he going to be entitled to give Jackson State that going forward? No, if anything, he would do it for his HBCU that he played for. So again, that's not a platform. It was a unique personality that did a lot of things to raise the profile of that school. Where they go from here, I'm not optimistic about where they go from here. I'm just not, or for any because again, for a lot of and the only other critique I would have, not a criticism, but a critique. When all this stuff went down, this was after the George Floyd deletion. And he basically talked about we need to change this system where you have Black people start to invest in our own institutions. And the idea, what he saw is that we need to start getting these 4- and 5-star recruits to start going to HBCUs to change the dynamic so that these Power 5 schools don't get all the best talent. That was at least what he sold the public. He said that. So
he didn't sell nothing. He did it. He invested his money.
I'm saying selling is not a bad thing. Why are you taking it so personally? I'm saying he did. That's what he did.
Because I hate to see other Black men tearing down another Black man.
It's not tearing down. Why are you taking selling as telling down? He made his pitch. Whatever you want to call it, a pitch. What is his appeal? Whatever you want to call it. I'm not getting hung up on this wordplay, but that's what he came in with. And that's what people hung on. But everything else he said, look, if a better offer comes around, I'm taking it. None of that's true. Like I said, I'm not mad at him for leaving. Is it an opportunity that if he could have been there? Because my thing is, I wouldn't mind him staying to see if he could get like Alabama or Mississippi State or whatnot to go on the schedule. That, to give the school much more bigger exposure to see how an HBCU really can compete with a Power 5 school. That would have been nice to see. I would have liked to have seen that. But I can't fault the man for being about his business and doing the things that are in his best interest. I can't deny that. But the fact that we're just acknowledging the other things, I said nothing that was not true. But we're getting triggered because we're thinking we're selling somebody out. Again, why does it have to be because I call these things out? I'm calling them. I'm not. But multiple things can be true at the same time. The school benefited, and he absolutely benefited from it. And just leave it there.
I agree with you. The school benefited and he benefited as well.
That's it. That's not selling out. That's not. But anything else.
Also, those players benefited too. Listen, those players benefited too. Did they not have a spotlight on them?
Absolutely.
So the ball's in their corner now to play better and to keep doing what they already been doing and get themselves in a better position, whether it be in the NFL or play overseas somewhere.
Or like he was saying, a lot of guys, if they want to go in the now, the only thing I didn't agree with also was he picked certain guys to go into the portal. Like he knew Travis and those guys, his sons, they were all going to go in the portal. But in the speech to the, hang on, I'm not saying that's wrong. But what he did say to the JSU team was, don't try. You think you're going to be better off going into the portal?
To the pool, yeah.
So I'm saying, why is he discouraging the JSU players from not going into the portal?
Because he knows some of those players won't do well on a great team.
41% of the
who's going to know better than the coach?
There's guys that are gonna go out in the portal, and the portal numbers, because it's still new. A lot of guys get stuck in the portal. A lot of guys just get stuck, and it gets bad on them. So, and it's kind of like, I hope the guys don't just go out. And I will say this, hey Andre, those guys got plenty of motivation, because everybody in around the SWAC is gonna be looking at it like, oh, Prime gone. They rubbing their hands like Birdman. They ready to go after them. They got plenty. They got plenty of motivation.
I don't show no prayer view is.
Oh yeah. Southern too. Southern just got smacked by them again. Like, everybody is gonna be having their eyes looking at them. And so it's just like, bro, we not saying it. And like you said, I'll say that out of my mouth again, bro. I ain't saying he a sellout. Not saying it at all. Like,
I don't think anybody is
not sellout. Because my thing is, as far as racial matters, there are worse things to be a sellout. There are sellouts that we see in the community, and every day we see those people. That
all the drug dealers we see selling poison to our peoples, they all sellouts. All of them,
complete. So like,
respect the drug dealers, man.
So we're not going. So I just want to put that out there. To put it out there, bro.
No, respect the drug dealers.
No, Mr. Bennett. If you
I will never respect somebody.
I'm good. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, you must have seen my speaking notes, because you hit on a lot of other stuff I was gonna speak on, bro. About like him and the platform, and like, man,
that's my only pushback. I appreciate that. Like, it's not a blueprint, and it's not a platform. And I don't see how it could be.
It's not a blueprint to show them how to win. They went undefeated.
We know. No. Here, I'm gonna break it down. One more time. It's not that what he did is like being undefeated, but it's how he did it. Like, he's literally like, I want to say James Houston, the guy that just had the sacks on Thanksgiving for the Lions. That guy came out the portal from I believe Florida. So if you go to a lower level, like, he came from Florida, he came down to a FCS school. Like, yeah, bro, you're gonna dominate. And he got a lot of those guys. That's why his defense looked. But the thing he knows is, coming from FCS football, the guys up front is the difference. The 5 linemen and the 4 defensive linemen.
Absolutely.
He was going and snatching those guys.
That's why he wasn't ready to play the top 5 schools.
That's why exactly. And so if you go on those guys playing against the SWAC, he know, hey, I'm about to dominate, I'm about to wreck shop. Shador over there dropping dimes, because I feel like he's a quarterback that can get drafted high. Now he's going to take him. He's going up a step, and he's going to Colorado. We off that point. It's just more so the point of the other steps of what it, and just sometimes I will say this. I think we kind of overrate what he did, as far as we say, oh, HBCUs, he did this for Jackson State and the SWAC. Now, the part about the business, that's something that he knows some about, because he does business, but he doesn't go and negotiate those classics. Those classics, and what that is, because what basically working at an HBCU is a labor of love, because you are not going to get, excuse me, you're not going to get the big money, the big notoriety. You're doing this for people.
If you go undefeated, man.
I'm not saying the
that's remarkable.
I'm talking about it's remarkable, period. Yes. But here's the other thing. About it. We're talking about what he did for them, as far as exposure. Exposure, like I said earlier, it's not money. We're talking about actual money and things of sustainable and long. We know that. And we did that for what, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years? So he did that for 3 years. That's what I'm saying. Bro, what it
you like that, Mr. Bennett? You like that, Mr. Bennett?
It's a lot to go to these schools. It's a lot to do this. So it's like, what he did, we appreciate it, but we have to move on and be like, okay, because if you are HBCU, if you are SWAC, you are MEAC, you are these other conferences, bro, we gonna be here and still building. That's why I'm not over here. I'm not doing all that, but we still got time to build, like you said, and donate and do things to keep the progress moving.
See, Dante, that's where I disagree with you. When you say he not SWAC because he left, that's like saying I'm not black because I don't live in the black community anymore. I'm black no matter where I go, no matter what I do. I don't get that option. I don't get to choose.
What he meant by that was something totally different, and that's something I'm not gonna get into right now. I'm not gonna get into because
everywhere we go.
But what I want to do is, RJ. All right, who up next? Johnny, who's next?
Poppy.
Poppy, go ahead, bro.
I'm just looking over here at the little private chat they got going on over here. But
what happens in the private chat stays in the private chat, all right?
Hey man, how's everybody doing today?
What's up, man?
Well, I need everybody to be quiet. It's time for me to preach. JT, Rob, welcome to the Sport Talk. Mr. Bennett always here. I always school Shawnee and Dante every Wednesday, 5 o'clock Central Time. You know what I mean? Today is a little more schooling to do, right? Here we go.
Oh boy.
Deion Sanders is a fucking sellout. He's a coon.
What the hell?
Bastard.
Cut the mic. Cut the mic.
Yo, drop him. Drop him from the panel. This is gonna get taken down. Drop him from the panel.
Yeah, I know. Watch your mouth, man.
Y'all want some of this knowledge or not?
You can't be cussing all crazy though, man. Saying whatever, man.
Yo, black man, protect your network, black man. Get him out. Divest his ass.
Marcus, get your Mexican ass out of here. Relax. Yeah. No. I'm gonna get you. Listen, man. Listen, man. Deion Sanders is just doing business, man. I don't know what else you want the man to do, bro. Everybody always screaming that black coaches doesn't get opportunity.
Facts.
He just happened to get one for $30 million, bro. He built Jackson State in 3 years. I think his records were. I want to know if anybody in here watch every game Jackson State. Did y'all watch the games?
Nope.
I don't know about Jackson State, but I know Dante watched a hell out of HBCU.
I watched like a solid 11.
I was watching HBCU go. I really support what I'm talking about. So I'm watching HBCU go every week.
Yes,
I'm watching them. I'm watching Prairie View. You know, my alma mater. So it's like I'm watching. But
yeah, I watched every game of Jackson State this season, man, because I'm a Deion Sanders fan. That's my guy right there, man. Right? I want to know, did any of you donated to the school?
Nope.
Did any of you
That's
bought
what I'm saying.
jersey? Did any of you bought the Jackson State jersey? They had a different jersey every game. You know that, right? Thanks to Deion Sanders. Only Oregon had a different jersey for every game. You know, Oregon got like 1 million goddamn uniforms.
Hell, ain't they the only black school that have their names the back of their jersey? Because he made that an issue too.
It's Deion Sanders, bro. He brought eyes to the program, bro. Like, listen, and he was getting so underpaid, though. I didn't know that man was getting pretty much pennies. And 300,000 is not pennies, but goddamn, to a guy with that kind of name, bro, they should pay him 300,000 per game.
Let's not forget he donated half of it also to the.
I think probably with that statement you just said, because of Jackson State, you know, I think if he would have went to a school like PV, he would have got more, because PV is a little bit well established compared to Jackson State. Jackson State, they're not a school that gets a lot of money, and then of course they got other stuff. You know, they in the poor state, if I'm not mistaken.
Excuses.
You can't give a coach money if you don't have it.
Yes. Like,
but when you start making money, you can't kick something back to the program that
for your information, Mr. Andre Terry, the only way most schools provide is because of the football and basketball program.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yes. And the only thing that Mr. Deion Sanders, he was trying to do, he was trying to schedule all, what is the name of that school? Ole Mississippi, some shit like that. They was trying to put them in the schedule.
Ole Miss.
And the other one, Auburn. But the thing is, they didn't want to play them. That's the only thing that he didn't accomplish. He went 27-5, okay, in that shitty ass program. He drafted a 5-star recruit over there for the first time in goddamn 100 years. You see what I'm saying? The man did a whole lot of things. Now he a Colorado. Matter of fact, I actually don't call me Papi Blanco no more. Call me Prophet Blanco. I predicted this shit.
The hell, Hattie?
In June 2000 this year. No, on that series, on the live stream. My friend My friend, listen, I bet my friend $50, and I said, yo, Deion Sanders got another 12 months in this program, man, because that man became bigger than the program at this point. And it's gonna be schools that are gonna start throwing him a lot of money. Because I'm gonna tell you, and he was like, no, man, Deion Sanders is he loved the school. He's about to build the kids. Like, yeah, man, he also loved money, bro. He also loved money. And I predicted he was gonna leave, and I didn't predict the whole Colorado State. But I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen next. Y'all wanna hear? He's gonna end up in the next by 2025. Remember, you heard it. You heard it here first. Black Man Unfiltered Network. He's gonna end up at Florida State by 2025. That's what you're gonna be at. And from there, if you don't end up in Florida State, guess where he going? Going to the NFL when the baby boy make it to the NFL.
He said he don't want to go.
I think that Florida State ship passed. I think he might have had a chance a few years ago, but now that program is definitely on the upswing. I thought that coach from last year.
They missed their opportunity. He didn't miss an opportunity. They missed an opportunity. They're gonna look back and be
Mr. Bennett.
I'm just saying that. Yeah, I think that ship is shit because I don't think they're going back. If this program continues to play the way they've been balling as of late, that the 25 window, you might have to push that back more. If they give that guy an extension, then you're gonna miss that 25 window.
Nah,
I got breaking news. I just found out Deion Sanders will sell out talk. He's going to announce a new program with Dr. Umar Johnson at Victim State University.
All right, cut the mic. Cut the mic.
Drop this guy from the panel now.
Leave Dr. Umar alone, because that's my Philly brother.
Marcus, go. I saw what you. Marcus, go ahead and give your feedback.
I just had to borrow the roommate's part of my break. So
first of all, shout out to everybody on the panel.
Thing now is like Mr. Deion Sanders.
Drop Poppy from the panel right now.
You know, it's my turn to talk, man. I'm like
okay. My bad, Profeta.
You know your sport tastes are pretty trash. So just sit back and watch and learn. Just learn.
Oh
okay?
My Lord.
Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, man, he did good for that program. The only thing, man, is there's no another Deion Sanders to duplicate that, man. You know what I mean? What the man used to bring to the school and used to go and sit on people's couches to recruit your kid he was a genius. He's a force that nobody can do it, man. That man is just pure class. His aura that he got, man, nobody else have it. And that program gonna go right back to whatever it was 4 years ago. Sorry to you. I don't know who he was grooming. I know he kind of like give reference to somebody to take over, like somebody from his coaching staff. But they're not Deion Sanders, bro. You know what I mean? So
he did mention
rather with him.
I think he did mention a coach, and I forgot exactly which one, but he did in his that interview, the speech he gave them after I think they won the conference about a coach who was going to succeed after him. So
I think it was one of the assistant coach.
Yeah, one of them that they respect.
Mike Zimmer is still there, right?
Who?
He brought Mike Zimmer from the NFL for free.
He got him as an analyst. And that's the real game of college football when you really get
please
doing
pause.
it.
I want to hear what JC got to say.
You go get the big coaches to come be an analyst and just watch stuff for you and break stuff down.
Still waiting, Shawnee.
That's how the other Power 5 schools like.
Come on, OG, schooling real quick.
That's how they really do it.
We're gonna let Marcus go first. He was waiting, and then we're gonna
go ahead, Marcus. Get it in. Don't eat no burrito while you're doing it, though.
I'm gonna try. I'll try not to, JSP. You taught me well. You taught me well, JSP.
Right.
Yo, can't Taco Bell.
You taught me to use a fork and knife to eat that shit. So thank you. First of all, shout out to everybody on the panel. Much respect. I'm gonna talk to some of y'all in a minute. I'm glad y'all are doing okay. When it comes to Deion Sanders, primetime, arguably known as probably the most athletic NFL player in history of NFL, and he did great things when he was a player. He did great things as a coach. I know he delivered 2 SWAC championships. He delivered a way of training and coaching method to your mentality to make sure you just try to be better. So he inspired a lot of kids, especially the students, the players that are part of his program. There's like a YouTube. He's still doing it, and I can't shame the guy, nor will I, for getting his foot in the front door hopefully he inspired people to, hey, take a lesson out of my book. You don't have to, but this is what happens when you keep working hard, keep pushing it. And there's a vlog too when there's like his last day there. His players, his staff, the people, the medical, all of them were there to make sure, hey, we appreciate you, we thank you, you taught us well, you taught me to be a better person, better student, better man, and overall better coach. So he did lay out some type of blueprint. Now, he individually is a unique man, generational. I hope he carries that, and I think he will when he goes to Colorado. There's definitely going to be more ethnic, diverse people going to Colorado because of him, in my opinion. I think there's going to be recruits that are going to see him. I know Colorado isn't the best team. They were 1-11 last season, but hopefully they can pick it up, and I think they will with his style. Even if it's 6-6 or 7-5 or whatever, it's an improvement from what it was before. I think he'll be doing even better. But that's just all I got to say for now, and I think people should take it easy. And even if he doesn't do that good his first year in Colorado, relax. It's his first year in a new program, a new system. He'll do his best, and I think people got to, be thankful and appreciate what he did. And it's not like he left him high and dry. He did many things to help out of his own money, his own pocket. There were times where it looked like he was working for free because the way that contract was set up, he was taking money out of his pocket to go into the program. So, shout out to the HBCUs, and I hope you guys do get more coverage and you guys get more roles and stuff. Because I know they did it wrong when they did it when they hired Jeff Saturday. They should have hired one of the other coaches. They should have hired the assistant coach from the Chiefs. He's been looking for a head coaching job. Brian Flores had been looking for a head coaching job. They're good coaches. They've done good with their teams. But hopefully this will give more sight to help them out.
There's a bunch of good black coaches don't even get the opportunity.
Exactly. So that's all I gotta say. I'm not gonna go on a long tangent like Poppy's ass.
Hey, before we get to the show, I would like to know from everybody, and this could be at the end. How much of a leash do you think, or what is your prediction for his success at Colorado, or how much of a leash if he doesn't turn this around in 2 years, if they're not a bowl team in 2 years or whatever, how much of a leash that is he going to get? Because again, a lot of times these black coaches, they don't get a lot of that leash that a lot of these other coaches get. So I'm just, but that you can say that towards the end, but I'm just curious what everybody thinks.
Yeah, I'll give you my feedback. Yeah, I'll give you my feedback on that one as soon as OG go. Then I'll answer as soon as he go.
All right. Good evening, gentlemen. And I hope everybody's doing well and their family's doing well.
Gee, what's up, man?
You got it. Hey,
it's always a pleasure.
That Barry White voice is all over that microphone. Anyway, this is why I don't like wintertime. You had to kick the shit off your shoes before you come in the door. It's kind of hard to do it in wintertime. Some of you guys was on point, but let's just be honest. Deion did exactly what he did. And I don't hear nobody criticizing Jesus Christ. He was a traveling man. He did the same thing. He just didn't get paid for it. So let's just keep this shit real. And as far as Poppy, as far as a man who supposed to be a predictor, all right, I can see right now people who's predicting is going real low, like Cleo. You know what I mean? What was her name? Miss Cleo?
Miss Cleo.
Calm it down.
This is why you don't look. This is why you don't trust a man who can speak 2 languages and give him a microphone. Because they do a lot of dog talking, which I love him. I won't call him Poppy because that'd be like me calling a man sweet meat. I just can't do that.
Or delicious.
So, anyway, so I think Deion did exactly what he did. He showed them a blueprint. And if someone, there's nothing better than hands-on training. I don't give a damn how long you go to college. When you get that hands-on training, that is the real training. Because everybody who goes to any college or any institution, you obviously have to go out there and work out in that field, and a lot of that shit you read in the book could just been dust. You know what I mean? You have to put your hands to practice. So let's just get what would he do in Colorado. Now show you how much power a person has. He walks in the damn door and said, "This is my quarterback." Now, how many coaches have you ever heard say that?
I'm sure he got in the contract when he first
No. But this is what I'm talking about, power, bro. This is what I'm saying. He did it in a black institution. He came through the door with power from a black institution. That's what we're not really recognizing. You know what I mean? Everybody else want to call that a shitty league. It can't be a shitty league if you can walk through the door of an Ivy League school or a big program school that has
Pac-12.
You see what I'm saying?
Pac-12
and you can walk through the door and you can say that.
Yeah.
You know there was a lot of pause. There was a lot of assholes that froze when he said what he said.
Well, you saw how fast some of them transfer.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, when we have opportunities in life, regardless of wherever it comes from, and you was able to drop some jewels and keep it moving, you know understand? How could you ever call that a sellout? You know what I mean? He's gonna kick doors through wherever he go through for other coaches to have other opportunities that usually just ends up at home watching games on the damn TV like the rest of us.
Just about
so we just have to take. I've been saying this all up and down the internet, and it's like, I think somebody asked a good question. Papa did ask a good question. How many people support? See, I'm from the Carolinas. I support Johnson T. Smith.
There we go.
Football. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, if we're not gonna support something, we just gonna be chilies on the side, or either people who just complain on the side. Then fuck. I mean, we're doing more sellout than anybody, because we starting to be nothing but ambulance chasers. I mean, let's just be honest. If Deion went with the Jackson State, we wouldn't even be talking about HBCUs and football. So just to know that he brings that atmosphere to our discussions in these spaces now shows he did a great job. And I still can, say Jesus Christ did pretty much the same thing. I just hope he don't end up like Jesus Christ. But he's doing a good job. I know that scared the hell out of some of you Christians, don't it?
Thank you, everybody. It's been a great show. Shout out to Black Man Unfiltered. We're out. Please.
All right. So, but anyway, I want to say what Mr. Bennett, because I'm gonna leave because I'm cooking some food right about now. And Mr. Bennett, the answer to your question is, you go see a hell of a situation, because it's not like the old days. The way they got colleges set up now, you can pretty much do a draft choice all throughout the whole year.
You sure can.
You see what I'm saying? Like the older years, you had to, the players had to set out a year before they can play, and you understand. There's no longer that. Now you guys get in that box, boy. You could be chose. And think about it. If you are a top tier player, and you got a top tier coach that everybody's gonna be talking about in the next year, wouldn't you want your name associated with that coach?
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes him different from any coach out there. He's going to be the coach to everybody who's going to have the microscope. Peace, love, and always strive for the truth, my brothers. And thank you for the patience of my bullshit.
Appreciate you,
OJ. Pouring milk on Raisin Bran is not cooking, brother.
Yes, wait. But you know what?
You know what? JT.
But look, JT, I know all about pussy. Let me do the cooking.
Oh shit, yo.
Let him know, OJ.
but yeah, I agree, because I think my whole thing, I just keep it, and pretty much based on football for the most part. And I don't really get into a lot of the political stuff, but just on the football, because it's no different than what you see coaches done in the past. They go to a smaller school, they build a resume. If they're productive, a bigger school can come knocking. I just think because it's with Prime, a whole lot of other layers came, because I guess it's just how it is. Because I think if it was another head coach that was in a similar situation, you would hear a number of praises to him, congratulating him from his new job, from going from a smaller school to a bigger school. But because it was Prime, it got damn near like 5,000 other layers, which, and it just brought out a whole lot of emotions, pretty much majority within the black community, unfortunately. But,
that's black life, too, though.
Exactly. It is the same thing.
That's black in America. It's more layers to it when we involved to it. But I will say this. If it was just a white coach going to another institution, a bigger school, they still be pissed. But the other thing is, with the college game, your AD is your president or whoever's making the coaching decisions is supposed to keep like a drawer full of 5 names, in case of emergency. In case of emergency, especially if you are a FBS school or if you are a Power 5 school, but let's say you're a Colorado State or someone like that. You're supposed to know, if I get that golden parachute, to get that guy that's really good, somebody's gonna come and get him and pay him. And then if you're at the bigger school, the game is every year you flirt and you act like you can get this job and then you get a pay raise. That's where you get at the top of the game.
But Dante, let me also say this too. If you got somebody that nobody wants, you ain't got nobody good. That's all I'm gonna say. You ain't got nobody good.
Another thing that a lot of people were saying too, they were saying that he's going to a school that is, got a great record. And then he's leaving a school with a great record and he's going to a school with a terrible record. And I'm like, coaches aren't supposed to be that, right? He's there to do a job. They are paying him to do a job. It's just weird, some of these arguments. I'm glad on this panel, man, we can all have real conversations.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Can I say something? I appreciate you, Jason. Can I say something that's funny though? That, all right, now close your eyes. Now imagine Jackson State said this to Deion. They said, hey, and they basically, if they said this or another school said this, hey man, we don't got the money yet, but we gonna get it for you. Now imagine that, not just for college, but anything, any services, a barber, you telling the barber, I'm the barber, any other service you want somebody to do for you. Hey man, but because Colorado literally said that to Deion, we don't have the money yet, but we gonna get it. And that's just the power of knowing that, hey, this institution has access to more money than Jackson State had, than other schools had, and we're going to get you this bread. They literally, I was like, they bullshit. Here, man, literally, we're going to get it. And because they knew as soon as the portal come in, as soon as the portal hit, he already got, I think, a 4-star from 2024 already committed. I mean, the portal is jumping for Colorado.
Boy, them tickets about to be $168.
It's gonna be higher than giraffe pussy.
Let me just say this. They're gonna start off next year. They're probably gonna start off 0-1. They play at TCU. TCU's in the playoff this year. They're going at TCU. Then they play Nebraska, who's a rebuilding team themselves. Then Colorado State. They need to be 2-1 out of those. And if they 2-1 out of those 3, they doing something. Because then when you get in the conference play, like. I want to say, I'm looking at their schedule. Yeah, they got to play USC. They got to play Utah is the real one. Utah is they punch UFC in the mouth, and so that's going.
We're not talking about that right now, right?
All right.
Let me just say this.
Dante, like you said something about the recruits. Dante, something about the recruits. It's not that hard for Deion Sanders because all you have to do is call back all the people that he recruited for Jackson State, and they're gonna come up with him. So that's easy. That's like 50% of the work for him right there.
His son is like that. Like his son is like that.
Shadar is a beast. Yeah.
I need Shador to be a 1st-round pick. I need it.
Yes. And for my man, Mr. Bennett, I got your prediction, man. Next year, Deion Sanders is gonna go 14-8. I think they play 12 games, I believe, on the Pac-12.
Dante, it don't matter if you're a 1st-round pick. Look at Jalen Hurts.
He's gonna go 4-8. The second.
Look at Tom Brady. He won the 1st-round pick.
Yeah,
you can't say Tom Brady. That's a rarity, bro. He was
so is Jalen Hurts.
Man, Jalen Hurts was a 2nd-round pick. I don't want to hear about no Tom Brady conversation
totally
today,
different.
Man. Like, come on.
Oh, he only had a comeback in the 4th quarter this Sunday, but okay.
Yeah, he trashed.
We already know who he is.
Anyways, that he's gonna go 4-8 the first year. Second year he's gonna go. I give him 7-5. He's gonna improve over 75%, something like that. So he's going 7-5. And the 3rd year, that's when the real Deion Sanders coming in because every coach needs 3 years to turn the program around. He's gonna go most likely 9-3, something like that.
Most coaches do. That those rules don't always apply to black coaches. I'm just saying, it's like that leash is shorter for them. But again, with his personality, he may get that extra year or so because of his personality.
Let me stop you right there. Yeah, Deion Sanders is not a black coach. He is Deion Sanders. Like Beyonce.
Oh shit, yo.
You know what I mean? Deion Sanders is his own race. He's Deion freaking Sanders, man. That man, trust me, Deion Sanders ain't gonna leave a joke that he was the king to come over here and get fired in 2 years. That's not gonna happen for him. They're gonna let him run at least 4 years, bro. He got at least 4 years. You see what I'm saying? But year 3, that's when you're gonna see Colorado State going 8-4, 9-3, man. You can book it, man. Listen, I'm pretty good at this, bro. For all you gamblers in Vegas at the AGM, right. You can book that.
Listen, I absolutely hope you're right.
Let me just say that to what Dante said. I'm glad you mentioned it, but he would need to be understood. Before they even come out that way, they could have made that deal right there and there when he had ESPN showcasing their show. Have so many networks jumping in. You got Pepsi, another big brand, pouring in money. Right there and then, when you see a guy pulling that amount of resource to a particular school, you could have not wait to the last minute to lock him down to make sure you could have more money for him. You don't wait until he's about to walk out of the door. When you see the change being made, you could have like, you know what, Deion, we need to go to because you want to make sure you stay here a little longer. So what we're gonna do? Whenever the game go on TV, we give you a cut from the profit. This way we can try to keep you here. You could do more than just this what you do right now. If you could have done that right there and then, maybe they were not gonna happen. Because you gotta be honest here. Even Mr. Bennett know this very well. What they were paying him, he was doing over 100 times more bringing in than what he getting, and on top of that, giving half. I'm sorry, it's hard to leave that. I'm a nerdy guy. I do calculation. The amount of money coming in.
For real?
Poppy, don't let me call JP up in here again. But to be looking at that aspect of it and look at the scale, that scale went beyond tilted. He did way too much for so little.
I have a question.
You shouldn't get no disrespect from anybody. That's what's bothering me.
I have a question, Dante. I got a question. It's probably you, Shani. I have a question too. Do you guys think that there's somebody else that's just as qualified to be a college coach, just as qualified as and specifically black as Deion?
As for Jackson State?
No, for any one of these HBCUs.
Yeah, as far as qualifications. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, but. Well, Mr. Bennett, I think he brought up this point. Deion has something, because I remember in an interview, I think it was that same, what was it, 60 Minutes?
Yeah.
When he was saying, like, you know, the players see him as coach, but the parents see him as prime.
We see him as prime time.
Exactly. That right there, that helps out with the recruiting and all that. And then when he gets to coaching, because Deion, he's been doing this even with his school in DFW. He's been, as far as a coach, what I've seen about from when Prime coach, he really does care for them young men. And you can see it the way they perform. I believe, Dante, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a viral moment when Travis Hunter, before I think it was the first game or something, he hugged him, something, he thanked him, but right before he ran out on the field. So he has a connection with them players that both, I guess, a personal connection and obviously I don't know if it's X's and O's or he does a damn good job of hiring his staff.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you hear him. He's a preacher, right? So I mean, look, you're going to go into a black. You're going to go into a black home. Most of the kids in the South, and you're going to basically give the kids a sermon. God sent me here to recruit your son. You're going to have the congregation saying amen. How many guys? I mean, the X's and O's part, a lot of guys can cover the X's and O's. But again, the recruiting, which is again, that's half of college football is recruiting. So that's an edge that he's going to have anywhere he goes on any level. So again, not easily replaceable. But the X's and O's, look, the game is the game. You know what I mean? That doesn't change.
You're right, because when Deion Sanders walk into your living room, man, like most. The parents of that kid, the grandpa, the grandma, the father, the mother, they grew up with a cowboy jersey Mr. 21.
Falcons jersey.
Number 21. Deion Sanders is a mythical legend in the game, bro. You see what this guy is a football guy, bro.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Hold on, right quick. I saw,
they even call me. Hold on, man. Let me finish a little bit, man. They even call me from Colombia, man. And we're like, yo, what Deion Sanders doing over there, bro? We even play football in Colombia. That's how big that man is, bro.
We only call Colombia we want cocaine. We only call it.
Hold on. I want somebody.
Andre crazy.
Hey.
Andre, don't do it like that.
I'm not talking about no. I'm not talking about no girl. I'm not talking about no girl. We're not bringing that up. Hold on, man.
That's Lawrence Taylor topic.
Yeah, my bad.
No, I'm just messing with you. But real, somebody said, was it Clement Gray? Somebody said Deion said he's gonna get his helmet handed to him. I want to address that. When you said get his helmet handed to him, will you talk about that with the roster that he had now? Yes. But I think he is going to add in a lot of talent. Like day one, it's going to be competitive on that team. And I will say this: I can't fully answer your question, Mr. Bennett, as far as what record I think, but I will say this: he needs to be 2-1, and that first three going into I think it's a road game against Arizona State, which is a team that is rebuilding in itself because I want them to get their ass beat because they effed over Herm Edwards, like the guys
that dude before he came off the field.
I hope he's 3-1 and just destroys them because I want nothing good for that organization. But overall, if he can compete with some of them big dogs, if he can get them to close to a bowl game, he's gonna get his phone. Man, his phone is gonna break. Right. Because they're going to be calling him.
And it's interesting you mentioned Herman Edwards because now he's got a lot of those same attributes that Prime has. Like he can go into a room, he can sell you on. I've seen him preach. I've seen him in places. He's got that, but again, the endorsements he doesn't carry that swag with him. Like
that's
Prime
what
does.
JT said. But, it's only what he did is like, bro, lightning in a bottle. Like connections, like because I remember when he way back when he was when he fell out with Dez, he's got the connection with Under Armour, and Under Armour did a great job connecting with him because that's somebody you want to be with, and that Jackson State representing them. And I don't know what I think Colorado is a Nike school, so that they're gonna have to work that out. But
it goes back, I think, because the connections that Prime has, I think that is also comes into play about some of the backlash of some of the Jackson State faithful. They know what they're gonna miss. This dude brought a whole lot to them, and they know what they're going to miss. So I think that is also part of the potion of why you're seeing like some of the reaction from the Jackson State faithful. Like, this dude, he done opened up to a world. It's a drug to them. The success they was having, the exposure they was having, and all of a sudden, literally, maybe like dark and day and night, he leaves. That shit get taken away with him. And now they know they ain't going to be the same. They're going to be right back to where they were before Prime got there. The West is going to be ran by Southern and PV. And they over there in the East, and they're going to be, now they got a FAMU over there now.
For them. FAMU
exactly.
Is coming for them.
FAMU
is coming for them, yeah.
Because
exactly.
what they did to them with the Blossom Bowl.
Embarrassed the hell out of
that. So they see it.
I am in a SWAT group, and I cannot wait to see that. I cannot because they went nuts when he left. Oh, they
went to try to get Michael Irvin or somebody.
The drum beat.
Well, see now that's interesting because what I would hope that if like we talked about blueprint earlier, I think if there is a blueprint, I think it would be for retiring players. So if you get some Hall of Fame type of players who see, okay, you see what he did. The running back who played for the Titans, who went back.
Eddie George.
I was about to bring that because Hugh Jackson and Grambling and Eddie George.
You see
we smack them though.
Players who are saying, okay, I can go into this. You know, you got the Hall of Fame, you got credentials, you got Super Bowl wins, you got whatever. You know, if they see that as an avenue to do something post career, because I mean, let's face it, even some of these guys who've been balling, it's not like they all go into broadcasting or whatever. I mean, a lot of these guys, they need a they struggle sometimes looking for that second life after football's.
I mean, even look at the coaches now, man. They're not old white men. That's not the the norm anymore. It's not that anymore. So we getting to see little sneak peeks of what could actually happen in the world of sports, period. You know what I'm saying? Specifically football. So, all right, man. And that one of the things I also was going to ask you guys too was, did you agree with him when he was talking about the elevation? And what was it? He said you either being elevated or you being or you're going to get terminated as a coach. I've seen a lot of coaches say that if you didn't get fired, then you didn't do your job. I heard coaches say that. I don't know if to make them feel good about it or whatever.
I don't know about
but
that.
It's kind of like, it's kind of like.
I don't know.
Look, Saban could die at Alabama if he wanted to. I mean, he's not going anywhere.
Give him 2 more seasons as high as those expectations are. 2 more seasons like they just got, and that drum beat is gonna start. It is true. You do have to find a point when you get to even in his.
But he's already been, I guess, to the apex of college football now.
He's been casted.
Was JSU at the apex? We don't know. I think
they didn't even win a Celebration Bowl.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I think there was still a higher, especially. There was
higher to go. There was higher to go. But he left where it's still a point in which you can always say, man, what could I wanted him to at least doing the Celebration Bowl, because like I said, you root for your conference team after they leave. Just like the SEC roots for the SEC team or whatever when they go. It's all love. And so it's like when you're going against the MEAC, we want to win. The MEAC smacks us like way too much for my liking. I don't even like to look at the record. Like even in the game before the preseason, it's terrible. It's terrible. Like the game when they play the SWAC MEAC in the beginning of the season, that record is not very good. And so I was like, I'm thinking, Deion, here we going. But like I said, I can put my selfish stuff to the side, and I ain't gonna lie. I want to see him succeed at Colorado, but I do want to see more coaches. I want to see the coaches but I will say this: it's a labor of love to coach in the SWAC and MEAC Black college football. Period. I want to see those guys continue to keep pushing. Because we always gonna be here, we always gonna support. Homecoming gonna be packed. We do need to get the support better. I do think out of this conversation, I will definitely agree with y'all on that. But man, it's been such a roller coaster. But it's gonna be something where they're gonna do a 30 for 30 for it in a couple of years, because I think where Deion could go at the end of the day is really far in the FBS game. And you can always remember that it started with that Jackson State. You're gonna always see that in the clip. That's where it started. So,
hey, how y'all doing? What's going on, everybody?
Peace. What's up, information man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I know you got some nuggets, so.
I just wanted to say that I'm a little disappointed that he left, because I was thinking about the building blocks that he could be creating, because once he went to Jackson State, he kind of changed the paradigm in which he had the cachet to get the recruits, and people were looking at the HBCUs in a different way that they hadn't. Look, he brought a lot of buzz and energy and enthusiasm. And then there's clips of Deion Sanders with his daughter saying that it was God who sent him this message to be there. So now I look at Deion as just like anything. He's just it's a job. He's a football coach, because if you're saying that it's your calling to make impact on black men at that level, then you would say that he would stay there for the long haul, like at Eddie Robinson. But we know that that's not really realistic today, because if we know Deion Sanders, we know that he's all about show me the money. He's been like that since day one. He came out of Florida State.
I disagree.
Well, let me just say this, because I got some things to say up here, if I can. Deion Sanders was making about $500,000 at Jackson State. Now, you know the most money that he made in an NFL career, you take away his commercials, Deion Sanders made about $30 million in his career in the NFL. He didn't make as much money as these guys are making now, so we don't know what his financial paperwork is looking like. They offered him $5 million versus $500,000. We also know that Deion spent of his own money, and he used his celebrity status to get things built at Jackson State that they didn't have, such as facilities. He took money out of his own pocket. Also, he got stuff stolen from him. Let's keep that in mind. Okay? So it's not like Deion just came there and robbed the night away. He actually brought something down there that really hyped up black college football. So, and the reason why I bring about the money, because when you look at his career in the NFL and baseball, he always said, I got to get paid. I'm not going to be cheap. He told the 49ers, he told Jerry Jones, y'all can have me, but I ain't going to be for the cheap. So, and then if you look at his son, who has an incredible YouTube channel, there's a scene that I remember where he's going to the facilities and he said something. He said, we have never had it like this before. What did he say? He's also looking at the careers of those other black men that's been with him since the Little League days. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put a bomb on y'all. Remember his Prime Academy? You know why he doesn't have that Prime Academy?
Because one of the guys
you had
money from the program.
Right, and you had, I hate to say this, what I'm about to say, you had people who look like us that were working for the other side and were destroying the Prime Academy. So while he was creating that, you had black people down there that were sabotaging him behind the scenes. So my thing is like this. I think that Deion owes Jackson State a lot because they gave him a coaching job. But however, there was rumors that Houston was looking at him at one time. He had some other offers that were coming his way. He just didn't bite on them. But Houston gave him what he needed to get himself going. I do hope he has success in the division, in the big leagues or whatever we call it. Right. I do hope he does have success because we do need more black coaches at that level. But check this out. Let me bring this scenario to you, gentlemen. What if Deion, see, when people say, well, he shouldn't have left, it's a sellout. Check this out. What if Deion had stayed at Jackson State, kept building it up into this big powerhouse? What if the NCAA came to Jackson State and said, you know what, we want to move you guys to the big leagues now. We want to move you out of the SWAC and put you in the SEC or put you in a Pac-12, and you guys you think that Jackson State was going to run away from that opportunity that would give them money, funding? You got the TV contracts. So when you talk about, Deion left them, Jackson State would have jumped at a chance to move up in those upper leagues, because you know how we are as black folks. We think the white man's ice is colder than the black man's ice sometimes, right? So you can look at this any kind of way that you want to slice it. He made a decision as a coach. Only thing that, the people that really lose in this, and I'll land my plane, are the kids who he recruited and said, won't you come to the black college and get the experience and be with your people and build something? They're the ones that lose because they primarily went there for Deion in the experience and said, we're building something. Now he's able to leave and they got to deal with a Porto, or maybe they're going to stay or maybe they're going to leave. Who knows? That's what really bothers me, because these coaches do this shit all the time where they do this, they jump ship and the kids are stuck right where they are. Now, another thing that bothered me on one of his son's social media websites, when Deion Sanders went to Colorado to look at the facilities, you had the son in the van. He had the head on for Colorado. He hasn't finished his commitment to Jackson State and he's wearing the Colorado head on his head. That's a disrespect to Jackson State. I land my plane there, gentlemen.
Hey, bro.
Well, I appreciate you for dropping that one on. I don't know if y'all saw already. We got about 15 minutes left of the show, so we want to get the final thoughts with everybody on the panel. So we're basically just going to go, well, I guess I start with mine first, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to respond also, include with my final thoughts to the question that Mr. Bennett proposed earlier, and about the lease do I would expect Prime have in Colorado. I think, and I believe Poppy mentioned this, I think I would give him at least 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think right now Colorado can't say anything. You only won one game, and you bringing over this dude who's SWAC champion, twice? So you bringing somebody who has clout that you went to go get. So give him the time to build your program. You know, if he lose some games, because they starting off with TCU, that's going to be a big one, a team that's already in the playoff. And they lose some games, don't let the fan base, because yes, it's college football we're talking about, but it's Colorado, and a lot of them don't look like Deion.
Right.
So you might get some, some feedback if he struggles, and you know how like the fans get. You struggle early, they trying to make ways to start saying anything to get you out of there. But give him at least 3 years, let him build up a program, because you know he's gonna get the recruits.
Right.
So let him get his recruits. So with that, I say give him at least 3 years, and hopefully it's for 3 to 5 years. And by that time, it'll be interesting to see if Prime chooses to stay at Colorado, if he's experiencing success, or move on elsewhere. And I believe he'll be perfectly fine if he move on elsewhere. But other than that, my thoughts, I believe everybody was pretty much on the same page. I don't think anybody on the panel was saying Deion was a sellout. Now the details, is where we differ on some of them.
Yeah.
But I believe that Prime was in his right. I have no problem with him going on to Colorado because I look at it as from a football perspective.
Mm-hmm.
He built his resume at Jackson State. He produced. Bigger school came knocking with better resources. You see that happen to. It's not just happening to Prime; it happened to other coaches as well. And normally, traditionally, you see a lot of those coaches. You see more praise from them. I know there's some exceptions to it and all that, but you generally see more praise to it. But with Prime, because of the school that he's leaving, it was a whole lot of other layers who got built in there. But that's pretty much my final thought is, and I guess we just go down the list. I guess comparing what this view is right now, and like everybody that's shrunk, yeah. So go ahead and Rob, go ahead and give your final thoughts, and we just go on from there.
All right. First thing first, it's a pleasure being on your show. Great show. I've been checking your boys out for a minute, and so I'm happy I could be on the panel today. Also, shout out to Prime, man. I think what Prime have going on, what he's doing now, I think he has something big going on that we probably don't know about. I respect the fact that any man that's willing to take advantage of an opportunity, not just for him, but for his kids, man. Like I said earlier, man, his sons have the opportunity now to play for a D1 school that really get some shine. And I think his sons is like that. But to answer Mr. Bender question, I think Colorado, I don't know how much, Prime could make them better, but I mean, they could definitely be better than 1-11. And I think, having USC and UCLA leaving the Pac-10 real soon, I think that they could definitely try to make some, at least make some bowl games. And but yeah, I really respect this panel because at least y'all have some logic, with this conversation. Tomorrow, me What We Know podcast with me and my boy JT, we're gonna continue the conversation about Deion, and we're gonna play a video of some grown men wishing that Deion will fail. When he when he started coaching for Colorado, and I just think that's ridiculous. And I'm Dirty Tyler, tired seeing other men trying to tear down other men, But yeah, that's all I have to say, man. Great show, fellas.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that, man.
Final thought. I'll just say this. When a person go out of the way to build something for the community and go above and beyond, no one had a goddamn right to disrespect them, point blank. Because we have seen it repeat itself time after time after time. So thank for correction for information, man. With $500,000 they're giving him for 3 years each, and he gave half away to put in the program and for his staff, and he bring way much more in.
That's facts.
Then to have people to disrespect them, like were they even there before he even got there? Now you want to disrespect them after all that? Like, come on.
Preach.
And he was there for 3 years too.
He bought Network. He got Under Armour. He got Pepsi. I like Automotive. Black people want to put 100% in, but they gotta put 1,000% and still get no respect. Really? Just seeing that, it's not been the question: can you save the community or just build your own tribe? Which one is which? That's my final thought.
Wow.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that point. Marcus, go ahead.
Hey, man. Shout out to this all-star panel. Respect to everybody here. Y'all who are holding it down and giving out great gems. Shout out to Deion. Shout out to those athletes. Shout out to the HBCUs. I really hope you guys get more coverage, representation, more funding. Definitely take that money out of Brett Favre's pocket, put it back into the HBCUs, because those millions could have been used for them. And shout out to the coaches too that are good coaches that get passed around, specifically the black coaches like Coach Ebony from the Chiefs and Coach Brian Flores, and among others that don't get the job, but you give a job to Jeff Saturday, who had a losing record as a fucking high school team, which was makes no sense. But hey, much respect to Deion as well and his family. I hope they do well. I hope they strive and conquer. I hope those kids, the athletes that were there, I seen a couple of them transfer out of Jackson State to go to other schools. I hope JSU and others, they also make sure they get the help they need. And also shout out to all y'all again. Shout out to this panel. Hit the link, like, share, subscribe to all these content creators. And peace, y'all. Respect.
Appreciate that, Marcus. Oh, man.
Great conversation, fellas.
Huh?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, you almost got it.
Almost got it, yeah. I'm good now. But this was a great conversation, man. I'm glad that we had a chance to really speak on, things other than the man being a sellout, But my final thought is this. We've been changing the game so long, man, in entertainment, sports, and everything else. We are still not even holding pride in one another. One of the things I'm really tired of hearing black folks do is call each other stupid names like coon, sellout, and all these different names. Listen, we can argue about certain things and we can have a different perspective without calling somebody something as racial as these names, coon and sellout. If you don't like, and I love what Dante said today, it was a personal thing that he had given, just like everybody else, he's given real reason why he thinks the way he thinks, and all these different things. Mr. Bennett, the same thing. Information man, all of us, we were speaking on everything other than just demeaning another black man. This is crazy to me.
Yeah.
However, guys, I love platforms like this. Each and every one of you guys, I support, and I'm gonna continue to support y'all. I'm honored to be on this platform, man. Again, like my boy Rob say, you can follow me and him on What We Know podcast tomorrow. At 8 o'clock, we'll be discussing the same thing. We're going to be continuing this conversation, and that's all. And I'm out, man. That's it.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yes, sir.
Bobby, where you at?
Yeah, I'm right here, man.
Final thoughts, bro.
Well, great show, man. I'm always over here rocking with y'all guys, man. JT, I will be over there to spank you real quick tomorrow. You know what I mean? Give you some of my knowledge. I'm tired of spanking Shawnee and Dante every Wednesday. I need a better competition.
All right.
The Giants got smacked on Thanksgiving, though. I forgot to tell you that.
He's so good, bro. So
He ain't gonna go over that.
Y'all still ain't gonna win anything. Just remember that. No matter what,
How about them Lions?
we always lose.
Yeah, them Lions.
Eagles.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest, bro. The Cowboy haven't won since you've been an adult. You learn how to walk. You learn how to ride. You have to test for the first time, and the Cowboy haven't won shit.
They won when I was a little boy.
Yeah. My Giants, we got 2 Super Bowls in the past 14 years, man. So at least I've seen them win something in my adult life. Thank you.
I hear that, man.
I put that to rest.
Let's see your final thoughts, bro.
Yeah, whatever, man. Y'all just win in the marketing department. Y'all can have that. Back to Deion, man. Like, yo, man, I agree with everything what that man did, man. Listen, man. If they're paying me $300,000 in my joint, and I'm getting an upgrade for $30 million, guess what, man? You can call me all the coons you want to. I take that job. And I will literally call, my first thing I will call Google, and I'll make sure they have Black Man Unfiltered Network on the watch, Information Man channel on the watch, JT channel on the watch. If they say anything about me, shut them down. You shut them down. Nobody gonna talk about me when I'm getting 30 million. It's 30 mils. But nobody can duplicate what a man did in Jackson State, man. That's the only part about it, man. But the man he need a better challenge, you know. Because his ultimate goal is to get to the NFL, man. That's the route that he got to take. You know what I mean? Because black coaches, it seems to be a little harder to get over there.
Right. He ain't like Jeff Saturday where he can just get a job and ain't have no experience.
Yeah, Jeff Saturday happened to just play for the Indianapolis Colts. That's his only reference. Like, he knows Jim Hurst. I forgot his last name. I know he knows Jim. That's all I know. In Colorado State, give him 3 years. Every coach needs 3 years to turn a football program. And in the second year, that's when his recruits come in. In the third year, that's when they're gonna develop, and he's gonna give USC a run for his money. I don't think they're gonna beat him, but he's gonna give him a run for his money, bro. I know he's gonna beat the hell out of Arizona State, Utah. I know it's for Utah, and then Washington State, he can handle them. Trust me, third year that man gonna go 8-4, not possibly 9-3, man. And please subscribe to my channel, man. I'm having a monetized party by next Friday, so I need you to bring some ones. I'm gonna have some street friends, some Hennessy's going up. So, fellas, thank you for having me, man.
All right, bro. Appreciate that.
Thank you, brother.
Mr. Bennett, what you got?
Hey, 2 quick things. First of all, great conversation tonight. I really appreciate it. But for me, what I'm drawn to is something that's just bigger than Deion. And really, it's about the models, unfortunately, that I think Black America is still under. When we talk about the idea of platforms and having a blueprint, we're still not there yet. We are still charisma driven. We've always had charismatic figures who have led us, who've motivated us, who've been there. But they haven't been there for the long haul. Unfortunately, not because of anything of their own, but we still are, we're still led by. We need the Moses to kind of constantly lead us out. Very rarely do we have the institutions in place that really can keep things sustained even after someone passes. That's why we have very few institutions. The D9s, the Black church, say what you want about it, but the Black church, especially the AME church, I mean, we have very few institutions that just go on to sustain throughout. So that's something that we all need to work on, so we don't get caught up on just one person who's able to shift the conversation from one story to the next. So we do need to do that. But in order to do that, some people are going to have to make the sacrifice to build those institutions and stay there for the long haul. It may not be pretty. You might get a plaque at the end of your life or whatever, but that's going to be something that people are going to have to do. So really, this conversation just highlights again the idea of us needing to really build more durable institutions and enterprises so that we can keep things going. Hopefully, we can see that more in the future. But this is bigger than Deion. and again, this will continue to happen until that takes place. So again, thank you for allowing me to be part of the conversation tonight, and certainly looking forward to next week's show. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Mr. Bennett.
Yes, sir.
Andre, what you got, man? Final thoughts, bro.
Beautiful show, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all having me on the platform. Shawnee and Dante, which I doing there. Awesome work, man.
Appreciate that.
About sports, having black men on the platform. And we just discuss our issues and see our differences. You know? See other people's differences really helps you elevate your thinking. And I love everybody's perspective. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. I think we all just have different perspectives, right? But
no doubt.
I think what Deion did was amazing for that program.
Mm-hmm.
We really got to take the time to think about that, because we don't see that every day. We don't get that kind of love every day. And for us to go on platforms and say, "You not swag, you not this," and we get enough of that, man, in our community. Man, we don't need another black man telling another black man down for nothing. I don't care what it is. You don't see Jewish people doing it. You don't see Chinese people doing it. That's not what they do, man. That's what we can't do. If we want to get somewhere far, man, we got to work together, not separate, together.
Facts.
Shout out to everybody at Jackson State. We love Jackson State. No disrespect to Jackson State. I mean, but sometimes you have to move on in order to go. And I feel like people keep harping on that. He said God called him. God called him. Listen, when God calls you to something, it's never a comfortable thing. It's never something you want to do. Like he said, I was on 5 teams in the NFL. He said it first. He said, I thought it was ridiculous. He said, but God had my career go like that. I was able to affect here and affect there. So, if like they say, he's the first one that come from HBCU to go to a PWI. So he's opening doors to black coaches now to get more money and to hire coaches that was making $50,000. Now they're making $100,000. Nobody talks about that though. They just talk about what he took away, what he did, and all this. He's still gonna be in contact with those players. He stood up like a man and sat in that meeting and told them boys what was going on. He said, "I want you to hear it from nobody else. And if you got anything you want to say it now." They was acting shy. He called them out by name. You got something you want to say? You got something you want to say? We need to respect men like that. But shout out to Black Man Unfiltered doing dope work. Shout out to Jenny Moreno. Love you, Jenny. Dope. Appreciate you. Shout out to Dante and Shawnee. Awesome show.
Appreciate you, bro.
I love all you brothers, man.
Appreciate you getting able to hop on with us, bro. You always in the comments. I appreciate your support so much, bro. Good to see you. Talk to you, brother.
Yes.
We got y'all on Christmas Eve, though. I can't wait for that game, bro. I cannot wait for that.
Lit up.
Hey, we keep it peaceful. But I can't wait for that game. But I'm gonna bring it home, man. I appreciate everybody for showing up, everybody in the comments for the donations. We do appreciate that, man. We were trying to put out a great show. So Kevin Z, Information Man Show. I appreciate y'all for donating, man. But what I want to bring it home is this. It's a layered conversation. I'm glad Black Man Unfiltered Network was a place to have it, one-on-one sports show. But I will say this. He did elevate Jackson State, and he did do some good things. But overall, and I got this from my boy, a good friend of mine has a podcast, and he hosted this on the Game Plan podcast. My boy Alex said this. There have been 3 people that elevated from HBCUs to a Power 5 job, and one of them was actually a white coach that coached at Alcorn, and the other one was Deion now. That is, and I think the other coach, he went to Wichita State. I can't remember the school he came from, but he went to Wichita State. And now you got Deion going there. And Deion was a Hall of Famer, like we said, an unsustainable model, a charismatic and Hall of Fame NFL player. And that's what it took to get from there to a Power 5. So he may not have opened that pipeline. He definitely didn't open that one, because that one is still those coaches at those institutions or those decision makers are going to have to look at coaches from the HBCU level as actual coaches. They're going to have to look at that. So that's on them. So only thing that we can continue to do is to be a labor of love and build our institutions ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, donate where we can. And, just it's about more so the institution at the HBCU level than the athletics. And it's about us building it and continuing to grow our minds and grow our brands. So I appreciate the time that Deion had, but I'm still going to support the SWAC. I'm still going to support the MEAC and our HBCU football, whether he was there or not. I'm going to, support my kids. Hopefully my little brother's going to go to a HBCU and continue to grow and build that. And I appreciate the ride of what it was worth. Hopefully Jackson State continues to grow and build their program because they are a historical program. Like I said, I think they won 18 SWAC championships. So they have a lot of pride, and they're going to continue to do their thing. So once again, everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel, man, I appreciate y'all. It was an awesome show. Jenny, man, we're out of here. Everybody else, and we're done, man. So we'll catch y'all next week, man. We'd love for y'all to come back. Come check us out, man. Black Man Unfiltered Network, 1-on-1 Sports Show. We are out.
Peace.